welcome to Fearless Fridays, your day to reclaim your weekend and your life. Today we're going to talk about community and how important being part of a community is. Now, as you may have noticed, this is my second video that I posted today for this Fearless Friday. The one that I previously posted was about divorce and the law of attraction. But I really felt that I needed to expand a little bit more on community. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, that when we are going through transitions, it's really easy sometimes to feel overwhelmed. It's really easy to feel like that we're in this alone and that we have to try to just, muscle up and just do it. But sometimes we lose sight of that end result or the process, and we lose sight of trusting the process, because when we go through transitions, it's sometimes can be scary and sometimes can be really overwhelming, and we tend to sometimes put ourselves in a little bubble and in a little cocoon, because we are mending our spiritual wounds. We are mending our egos, we're mending our spirit, and it's one of those times that we really do need to have that sacred sanctuary so that we can regroup and we can figure out what we really want in our life, that end result. And many times we know what that end result is, but sometimes we forget how to gracefully get there. And by taking those baby steps, by figuring out what you want, okay, and then trusting in the process, and then also following those breadcrumb trails, I recommend also that you make a list of things to do to help keep your wits about you, because there are a lot of things that you normally say, okay, well, I've got to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this, and especially when you're getting a divorce, or especially when you're going through some type of major change in your life. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the little details just on the surface, as well as, or in conjunction with all of the energetic and emotional things that are going on. And one of the things that I've learned in this process is to not do it on my own. And I'm sorry if I'm getting a little bit emotional. But I have been on my own since I was 16. And during this time, I've had relationships and I've had marriages. And so this is my third divorce. And one of the things that I've heard ever since I was 16 was, oh, Flora, you're so independent. You can do this, you can tackle this, yada, yada. And so since I was 16, I've really tried to just muscle up and do everything on my own. But being in this community that I am, being part of the metaphysical community, being a part of this spiritual community that I'm in, and knowing energy and living this life for so long, I'm realizing that, why am I trying to do this on my own? Why am I trying to muscle up and do it on my own? No, sometimes it's okay to cry. Sometimes it is okay. Feeling those emotions, as I spoke about, last week, feeling those emotions and sitting with them and honoring them for what they are. And if I feel like crying, I'll just go cry. If I feel like jumping up and down and dancing to some funky music, I will. But it's one of those things that many times when I've been going through transitions, and I know many of you have reached out to me over the past several months saying, I'm going through transitions too, and wow, it's just so hard and I just don't know what to do. And one of the things that I've realized is that we shouldn't do it on our own. And we should reach out to those in the community. We should ask for help. And I know so many of us are in this position where we have to, or we feel like we need to do it on our own. And we feel like, well, I don't want to burden anybody else. And I don't want to impose anything on anybody else. That's one of the things that I'm working on, that's my stuff, is that I don't want to feel like a burden to anybody else. And so I choose to try to do it all on my own. But what that does is cut off all those other resources and channels of energy that are available to me, that all you have to do is ask. You know, like the other day I was talking to one of my friends and mentioned that I was gonna go buy some boxes, and she's like, why? I have a whole bunch. I'm getting ready to move. You can have mine. And that's a resource that now I don't have to purchase. And she gladly is giving them to me because she doesn't need them anymore. You know, and not just physical help, but even emotional and spiritual help. We're all in this together. This web of life is so beautiful. And being able to witness someone else's transition is so beautiful, and it's so vital, I think, to our spiritual health. And I'm not going to edit this out because I think it's really important for everyone to know that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel emotions. And I believe being able to be okay with crying is a sense of strength, because you know, I'm sure of who I am. I know I'm sure. And yes, there are some times when things get a little bit challenging. But when you cry, you're clearing that energy. It's clearing, and it's so healing, and it's so refreshing. I mean, think about the last time you just sat down and had a really good cry. Didn't it feel good afterwards? You were like, and it just felt so refreshing because you're cleansing from the inside out. And so allow yourself over the next week or months or years to feel your energy, feel the emotions. And when you feel like you're going through transitions, when you feel like closing yourself off, when you feel like that you're all alone and that it's overwhelming and that you don't want to be a burden to someone else, be willing to ask for help. Be willing to extend your energy and say, hey, I need help. I'm not really sure how to do this. It's been a while, or I've never done it before. Seek those people out in your life who you know may have some insight. Who are your friends? Who are your family? Whether they are your friends and family on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, a virtual family, virtual community on the inner circle. I always call us on the inner circle the village. We're the village people because it takes a village to raise a child, and and all of us have that inner child that's within us. So reach out to your virtual friends, reach out to your physical friends, your actual friends and your actual family. And in times of need, in times of transition, in times of just being, reach out to your community. You're not going to be a burden. One of the things that I always would be thinking is, well, if I talk about my problems, that's going to be perceived as me bitching about them or me complaining about them. But in reality, when you talk about your problems or issues or things that you're transitioning through, what that does, for me anyway, is to help me clear my mind and clear the energies and really hear what I'm thinking and hear what I'm saying and really ask myself, do I resonate with this, and does this really make sense? And I've found that the more that I talk about my issues or the transitions that I'm going through, the more clear that I get on my choices and my decisions, and more clear as to where I really want to go. And then I also make a list of all those superficial things that I need to do, such as getting boxes and doing this and doing that, all those little planning things that helps to keep my ego mind busy while my spiritual and emotional bodies heal and work through the emotional transitions that really need to take place. So I really encourage you to reach out to your community, whether it's with the village that's in the inner circle, or on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or whatever social network that you're part of. And also your actual social network, your friends and your family, your colleagues. And know that all of us are in this together. Every single one of us is at one point in our life the caterpillar in the chrysalis stage, completely liquefied, completely rebuilding ourselves, or the butterfly. And know that at any stage of that process, any stage of transition, it's so vital to be able to feel okay with reaching out and saying, I need some help. Or, hey, I just need a shoulder to cry on. Or, hey, let's go dancing. But allow yourself the freedom to feel okay with being able to do that. And know that you're not going to be a burden on someone else. You're not going to be a burden and in asking them to just listen. And hey, I just need a friend to talk to for about an hour. Is that okay? Okay, sure. Or even 5 minutes. But know that it's okay. And that's how we heal, and that's how we grow. Both physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. So allow yourself the freedom to connect with your community that is everywhere. I hope you have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.